Brought to you from Melbourne, Australia, this is the Badminton Podcast, a community for badminton players by badminton players, where we talk badminton, celebrate local heroes, interview players from all walks of life, and push you to grow as a player and a person. Introducing your hosts, Jeff and Henry.
Hello, everyone out there in our badminton community. Welcome to another awesome episode of the Badminton Podcast. So whether you're a first-time listener or you've listened to us many times, thanks so much for tuning in. For those listening for the first time, on this podcast, we talk about badminton, we talk to players of all levels, including international professional players, and we talk about topics that can hopefully help you in your life and in badminton as well. My name's Jeff.
And I'm Henry.
We're both the co-founders of VOLANT, the brand that gives badminton players an alternative to that unsightly, colourful, patterned, conventional clothing so that they can wear clothes that make them feel confident and stylish anywhere. In short, we give them gear that makes you feel great on and off the court. We're also really about bringing the badminton community together so we can share the love of the sport with everyone that we know and help you with your game as well. Our overall vision is to show the world how incredible badminton is, because it is actually an awesome, awesome sport. And I know everyone listening and watching this really does appreciate that. So you can check us out and shop at www.volantwear.com. There are heaps of free resources there that can help you with your game as well. You can also follow us on our social media at Volantwear, VOLANTWEAR. Now, just before we get started, we just wanted to ask all the listeners and watchers for a little bit of help. So Henry and I love hosting this podcast, and we do it for the community because it's basically fully self-funded and it's supported by our full-time jobs. So that's why we're asking for some support where you can pledge just a few dollars per month. That really helps us to keep releasing regular and high quality episodes for you. We've already had some people that they've pledged and we've given shout outs to on the podcast. So if you'd like your own shout out and you'd like to support us, you can do so by visiting patreon.com/thebadmintonpodcast, and the link will be in the description below. So for today's podcast, let's get into it. We've got two awesome guests that for the people watching you can see them on the screen now, and they're just across the Tasman Sea from us in New Zealand. So Henry, you're up.
Thanks, Jeff. So first off, we have Anona Pak, just there, I think. She's a 26-year-old mixed and women's doubles player who has represented New Zealand on multiple occasions, including the Sudirman Cup and Oceania Teams Championships. With her partner, Oliver Layden Davis, she is the number one in mixed doubles in New Zealand and is ranked 70th in the world, and they're both vying for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. She's also ranked third in women's doubles in New Zealand as well. Outside of badminton, she's a polyglot, someone who can write and speak several languages. And based on her Instagram, she's definitely a dog lover. So,
stalker.
Yeah. Checked her out. So next to her is Abhinav Manota, more commonly known as Manny. He's the number one in New Zealand in men's singles and men's doubles and is ranked 113th and 67th in the world respectively. He has represented New Zealand at the Sudirman Cup, Oceania Teams event and World Championships. He too is competing to qualify for the now 2021 Tokyo Olympics. And to other players, he's sometimes known as the Smiling Assassin. Look at him smile there. So Anona and Manny, welcome to the episode of the Badminton Podcast, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
So Manny, first of all, what's this Smiling Assassin thing?
I'm not too sure where that came from. Apparently it started in the NZ Open 2018. Where I got interviewed by the TVNZ, and that's where they told me that I got called Smiling Assassin. I didn't even know before that, but yeah, started calling me Smiling Assassin because apparently I smile on court, smile outside, and yeah, whatever I do, I just smile, so they just call me Smiling Assassin.
Just a genuine happy guy.
There's a shot, Mani's specialty shot. It's like the killer drop shot or the killer slice. So like it breaks both ankles. So we call him the Smiling Assassin of that shot.
The smiling ankle breaker. So which shot is it? Is it from the forehand side?
Yeah, that's correct.
Forehand slice cross?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, nice. And Anona, we're going to jump into this a little bit later because we're going to be talking about COVID and the effect of COVID on you. But with the languages that you speak, we heard from another article on Badminton Oceania that you just decided to randomly pick up German because you were thinking, I already know 4 other languages. I may as well just pick up another one. What's the story there?
Okay, so I learned German in my first year of high school, but kind of dropped it because I chose French and took it all the way up to year 13. So I was thinking, okay, since I already learned French and I learned the basics of German, might as well just carry on and learn a few more words so I can order food and travel, like easier to travel around. We were in Austria and we were about to go to Germany before it got cancelled as well.
I learned German for 1.5 years in high school. I can remember how to count to 20. And I can remember how to say like all the swear words, but that's basically it.
Those are the words you learn first, right?
Yeah. When you've got the dictionary when you're like 14 years old, what do? You just look up the swear words, right? Well, that's us. And they're just thinking, no, I learned how to order some like traditional German meals and some
sausages, beer.
You get to know what you're eating first, right?
Before you swear at them, you need to order your food, right?
It's true. So hopefully when we can finally start traveling again, Anona, you can go all around the world and you'll probably be speaking 10 languages by that time.
Well, last year when we were in China for Sudaman, I was the team translator, even though we had our own guide with us. So yeah, we had to order food for the team because they didn't know what food was on the menu.
Yeah. So it's a big risk in places like China where there's a lot of interesting cuisines available.
Yeah. So I just asked them the basics. Do you want chicken, beef, pork, or seafood? And then from there on, I'll be like rice or noodle, soup or whatever. And then, yeah, that's just eliminate.
You basically created like your own flow chart of ordering for ease.
Pretty
much. Like A or B. Okay. Then it's like when you go to the optometrist, like A, 1 or 2 is clearer. And then you can 1 or 2 clearer. And then you've just got like a flow chart. Okay. You're going to end up at wonton noodle soup.
Yeah.
That's the N1 by the time you get there.
You want rice noodle. Okay. Easy.
It's like choose your own adventure. Cool. So guys, let's jump into the reason why we're here recording the podcast today. And that's to talk to both of you about, of course, your badminton stories and careers, but also to introduce the listeners to the New Zealand Badminton League, which is something that's really exciting happening over there at the moment. So can you tell us a bit about it?
So we play 2 nights every week. There's 4 teams and they're
6 players in each team. So it's all from the New Zealand squad. But yeah, it's like a COVID product because we were in the lockdown and that's when they introduced that league. And then we didn't know at that time that it's going to happen
so
quickly. And then we weren't allowed to have that time many people in the hall anyway. So it wasn't focused towards the spectators as in like being there in person. It was more focused on watching televised it on Sky Sports and on YouTube channel, Sky Sport Next as well. So we play basically twice a week, Tuesday and Wednesday, and it goes for 7 weeks.
Each team twice. Yep.
And on the 7th week, we will play playoffs, which is 1st and 2nd and 3rd and 4th. But yeah.
Awesome. So COVID product when Badminton New Zealand's come up and said, hey, we need something to give to the players while we can't travel overseas. How has the whole thing been? Have you found that the Tuesday and Wednesdays have been something to look forward to and have helped you kind of like put you back in the tournament setting, which we're missing now at the moment because of COVID?
Yeah, it sort of gets you in the mind of, okay, so Monday is more like a preparation day. And if you play on Tuesday, we also have training in the morning so that it kind of mirrors what happens in the tournament where if you're scheduled in the late afternoon, then you have to find something to do in the morning, light jogging or light skill session, just something to do in the morning so you don't sit around and wait for the evening to come. And Wednesday, since we don't have trainings on Wednesday, but we also have to find something to do during the day so we don't feel stuck or feel lazy or too relaxed before the evening ties.
Sure.
Especially for some people who go to work and stuff and then during the day they have to go to work and then after they go play. So it's a bit different to play like a proper tournament because in the tournaments you're actually going out there and then just thinking about the tournaments or competition or matches. But this is a bit different. Like we are thinking about the general life at the same time and about competitions here. So I think it's really good, like especially for us at the moment, and for the spectators as well, it's giving them something to watch on the TV rather than watching highlights, So it's something to look forward to, especially for the players as well, and getting the competitive environment as well, because we didn't know what's going to happen now, since it's quite uncertain about the overseas tournaments, international tournaments. We don't know what's going to happen. So I think it's a really good product for us to look forward to. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really great that you guys can continue to play despite the border restrictions. In terms of what happens at the end of the 7 weeks, what are you fighting for? Tell me.
So we're basically fighting for some money.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the pool of $15,000. The winner team gets $7,000.
Yeah.
And then the second team gets $4,000.
It goes down in decreasing order. So whoever comes fourth do get a share of the $15 prize, $1,000 prize for year.
We'll get something anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
It's not about the money, of course, but something.
Yeah. It's more than just a great competition, but it's not just the money.
Each week per match day, there would be someone that gets the MVP of the day, and for that person to have MVP, they'll get $100 for that night.
Oh, cool.
So there's an MVP for the league as well. Yeah, so it'll be end of the league as well. So on the 7th week, they will announce who's going to be the MVP of the league.
So we're speaking to 2 MVPs here.
We won once.
Yeah.
In the first week. Yeah. But we were playing each other in the first week, so it was 2 different days. Yeah.
So is the overall MVP for the league, is that based on the accumulation of the ones you get each week, or is it a separate vote?
So they have each match day, so on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, they will pick 3 people, so in total 6 people per week, and they allocate the points, so 3, 2, 1.
It's like the Brownlow.
And the MVP of the day gets 3 points, and they win the trophy, and they get $100 for that tie that they play.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
For 7 weeks.
Yeah. And you just mentioned that you're both on different teams, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are the names of these teams, and how's the actual the process of building these teams work?
So the teams are basically HUAWEI Dragons, HEYTOUR Hawks, which is the best team ever, ONEPURE Bulls, and the Tiger Brooker Tigers. So BNZ League worked there. So they actually went out to find the sponsors, and then so they jumped forward, which we were really lucky to have them, especially after the COVID situation, after the lockdown. We weren't sure who's going to come forward and how much interest we're going to get. But now we're very lucky to have them. So so those are the 4 teams, and even though I'm HEYTOUR Hawks, I'm still trying to hold that ONEPURE bottle, which is my girlfriend works for ONEPURE. So yeah.
Before the teams were put out, it was during lockdown level 3 where we had little groups of training sessions, and we would always ask our national coach who's going to be in the team. Yeah, we would make up these draft lists in different teams and just show them to the coach and be like, are these the teams? And then she'll be like, I'm not sure. You just have to find out. Yeah, it's like the build-up of the
suspense.
Yeah, the suspense. We're just like, oh, come on, we want to know who's in our team. Yeah.
So you have to be a member of the national team to be selected. Is that right?
I guess so.
So yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. But at the same time, doesn't have to be.
Okay. Yep.
But the more focus towards the Scott players, so that they can get the opportunity to play some matches and in a competitive environment. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So with that, who ended up selecting the team? And when they selected the team, how did they make it fair? So let's just say they didn't get all of the 1, 2, 3 in every event in one team. How is it possible that it's fair?
We're not sure how they selected the team, but they did tell us that it will all be balanced. So in the beginning, I was like, I won't be in the same team as Mani or Ollie. I'll just make it unbalanced on one side. But I didn't know that I would be in the same team with Ollie.
Oh, you are in the same team as Ollie.
And Mani just got booted out.
Yeah, I'm in the separate team. Yeah, I'm the other team. Yeah.
You got shafted.
Yeah, pretty much.
We didn't want that.
Yeah. And I think you're both team leaders of your team as well. Is that correct?
Well, it does not really at the same time, but we just go as
the senior.
As a team,
we're the senior players of the team.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we got players as well at the same time. So yeah.
Just for completeness, do you by any chance have a list of the team players, just so that listeners, if they know you guys, they can say, okay, this person's in this team. Do we have the 6 players of each team in front of us? Or
Yeah, sure. Well, I'll announce 2 and then she can announce 2 as well. So I'll go with my team first, which is HEYTOUR Hawks. It's myself, Danny Ode, Ryan Tong, Jasmine, Anona, and Courtney Trella. And the other team is Tiger Broker Tigers, which is Edward Lau, Dakpan Wong, Jonathan Curtin, Justine Villegas, Sally Fu, and Janice Jang.
I know some of their names, but not all of them. Yep.
ONEPURE Wolves consists of myself, Oliver Layden Davis, Rowan Apolisok, Evan Wong, Josh Feng, and Caitlin Rosario. HUAWEI Dragons have Dylan Sojaza, Adam Jeffrey,
Oscar
Guo, Shauna Lee, Alyssa Tagle, and Ashley Tan. Yeah.
Cool. So hopefully if anyone's listening out there and have heard of these names before, make sure you tune in to the New Zealand Badminton League where you can actually watch potentially some of your favourite players. And now going to the more like this technical side of things, I know that the game structure is a little bit different to your typical 21 games, 3 sets for your league. Can you guys give us a bit of a rundown on that as well?
So it's best of 3 to 11. And the golden game, if the tie becomes 3-all, the golden game is 1 game to 11.
So yeah, basically we have one of each event, and then we have 2 mixed. So you start with mixed doubles, which is number 2. Doesn't have to be in a ranking order. Like anyone can play number 2 mixed, or anyone can play number 1 mixed. So I start with mixed doubles, and then it goes to men's singles, women's singles, men's doubles, women's doubles, and mixed doubles. So yeah, if it gets to 3-all, the tie score, then it goes to golden game, which is only 1 game to 11. That's what makes it very exciting there, because it's sometimes like if you are 3-2 down, or if you are 3-2 winning, then you still want to win the whole tie without getting to the golden game, because that's where it gets tricky. So if you win outright, which is like, let's say 4-2, 5-1, or 6-0, you get given 3 points. And if you win with the golden game, then you get 2 points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then if you lose with the golden game, you get 1 point. And if you lose outright, then you get 0 points.
So what event is golden game, and how do you select that? Do you select that on the go, or do you already know that this is the golden game you need to play and you submit that beforehand?
So when it gets to 3-all in the tie, the referee comes on with the coaches and the referee flips the coin. So sort of like at the start of the match, they'll flip the coin, the colours are chosen, and the coaches will eliminate each event. So they say, okay, I don't want women's singles, so take out women's singles, and the other coach will come in and say, okay, I'm going to take away women's doubles. And then the coach come back on and said, okay, taking out mixed doubles, and then the other coach will come in and take out the other one, and we'll leave with the remaining
event.
Yeah. That's how they choose it.
And then golden game, anyone can play, even though you haven't played that event before. So you can play. So for myself, let's say for
mine
me,
is the golden game.
for me, even though I normally don't play doubles in the tie, I play normally mixed and singles. So even though I play doubles, so if it gets to men's doubles, then my team can say, okay, now Mani, you can go and play men's doubles with someone. Yeah. So it doesn't have to be that particular pair who played before in the tie.
Yeah.
And with the shorter game format, how long does the whole tie last for? Is it quite short because it's only best of 3 to 11?
We thought it would last quite short. We start at 7 p.m. at night time, and it usually finishes around 10 to 10:30. We finished quite late last week, and our last match, because we had the golden game as well, so our last match actually started around 10:30. So by the time we finished, it was about 10:45. Yeah, we thought it would be short.
And the fun part is in the format is, so coaches get to say the timeout. So there's no rest in between during the game. So like, since it's only up to 11 points, but you don't get any breaks in between or any halftime breaks. You only get a break after the game, after the first. But if you think, okay, you're not playing well, if you're down or something, if you want to break the rhythm, the coaches can say, I want a timeout, and they hand up, and then they can say a timeout, and then there will be a timeout there. So just to make it more fun and interesting there. But it can be good for the players sometimes, but it can be frustrating for the spectators because the intensity is really going high.
Yeah.
And then there's a timeout.
It drops, Sometimes it drops and sometimes it picks it up and sometimes the
game might switch over as well.
Yeah, cool. That's it. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like you could have like one team with just overwhelming momentum on the other team, and it's just like, hey, hang on, hold up, give me 2 minutes. Let me cut that short for a bit. So, when did the actual league start for you guys? I know it's a COVID product, but where are we at now, and when did we begin?
So we just finished the round 4. We'll be going into the round 5 next week. So we started 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, 4 weeks ago. So it's like right after we got out of lockdown, during our level 1 lockdown.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, and at the start, because we couldn't have too much players inside the hall, so only the players and the technical officials and the volunteers that were working in the league was allowed in the hall.
Yeah.
And then the second week, the restriction sort of relaxed a bit, so we were able to bring in some friends and families to watch. And then now the future weeks, anyone can come in and watch.
Fantastic. And who's leading at the moment? Who's winning? And who's on the road to that 15, not 15, but like the highest amount of prize money?
So after this week's results, it's Tiger Broker Tigers with 9 points. And second position is HEYTOUR Hawks with 7 points. And and then is tie between
Wolves and Dragons are
on 4 points.
4 points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Third and fourth, yeah.
Third equal.
Okay, third equal. Just to make it sound better. Third equal.
So by the time this actual episode comes out, we're going to be approximately 1 week later. Okay. So in terms of people who want to tune in, when does this league run up until, and when will be like those final playoffs?
So the finals, I think on the 29th, 28th and 29th, which is Tuesday and Wednesday, I guess. So if they want to watch the highlights or if they want to watch the recap, they can always go on YouTube and they can search it up. Sky Sports. Yeah, Sky Sport Next. Yeah, it will be there forever, I guess. So they can watch all the ties there and all the action and all the fun things we did, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so for everyone listening, so 28th and 29th, Money?
Yeah.
28th, 29th of July, 2020, just in case you're listening to this in a different year. You just need to search on YouTube, Sky Sport Next on YouTube, and we'll put that in the description as well, just so you know. And you can also follow the league's Instagram page. Is that correct?
That's correct. They have an Instagram page. They have a Facebook page as well. And you can also follow the teams as well.
Yeah. So each franchise team has their own Instagram.
Yeah. Where we promote ourselves.
You can follow all 4 of us as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So we'll have all is like 20 different Instagram handles
in the description.
In the description below.
We all have access to the Instagram, our own Instagram team page. So we try to put up fun stories and try to get everyone to be in it with us.
And how we prepare, what do we do beforehand? Yeah, how do we warm up? If they have any questions from us, they can ask us and that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. So for fans of the HEYTOUR Hawks and was it ONEPURE Wolves? Make sure you reach out, follow Money and Anona on their journey. And it's super exciting. But let's move on to talking a bit about you guys as individuals, because I think it's important to get to know the badminton players behind the New Zealand Badminton League. And let's first start with you, Anona. Can you please give the audience and me and Jeff a bit of a background as to how you got started with badminton and why you love playing?
So it started with my mum making me try out all these different sports, table tennis, squash, swimming, and also the academic side like piano, art lessons. I'm the type that can't sit still. Like if you tell me to sit on the piano and play for an hour, I can't do that. I have to stand up every 10 minutes and walk around or run around and then come back and start again. So me sitting on a piano for more than 20 minutes is impossible. And with the swimming lessons, winter is too cold. I don't like it when it's too cold. So badminton's like the middle ground. I can move around and be warm at the same time. Yeah.
Okay. So how old were you then?
I started so holiday program started at 8, and then the coach during that time was like, hey, you actually have a bit of potential and talent. You should try join the junior squads. So I joined the junior squads and did normal basic training, and then got into the rep team, the junior rep teams at 12, and since then played competitively. And first international tournament was 16 when New Zealand Badminton Open was still KLRC.
Yes.
But yeah, first tournament, international.
And Mani, you're up.
Cool. I don't have that interesting story, but I started quite late, I would say. So I'm from India, basically. My dad plays badminton as well. He played competitively as well. I started playing cricket. The cricket was basically after the school, I used to go out and then in the ground and I'll play cricket and stuff with my friends. But then sort of made some troubles while I was playing cricket. So my mum said that to my father that, okay, I think you should take him to badminton and then, hopefully he picks it up. So he took me to badminton and then I would just watch him play. And eventually I made some friends there and then I started playing with them. From that point on, I was literally didn't go back to cricket at all. And then also, I don't even know why, I just don't like cricket anymore.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah. It's also part of the reason because cricket gets all the attention over all the other sports. So whatever you do, even though you're super good in other sports, you still don't get enough attention if you're not in the cricket. So that's the reason I don't really like cricket anymore. But that's how I started playing badminton. And I started playing badminton when I was 13, which is considerably quite old. When I first started, with a local tournament, basically. I played a local tournament and then, so there's a bit of fun story as well in there. So when I played my first tournament, I could not serve because I was so nervous. I never played a tournament before. I was never in a competitive environment before. So I couldn't serve. And then during the game, I looked at my dad and I was like, in my crying voice, I was like, I can't serve. He just asked me, just keep going. It's okay. It's your first tournament. It's your first game. Just keep going. Whatever you can do, just do your best. And then, but I kept going. And then when I came out after the match, of course I lost. But when I came out, I cried the whole afternoon, which wasn't a good experience. But I think I learned from that match quite a lot. From the first match, I fell in love ever since.
Awesome. How many hundreds or thousands of hours of serving practice did you go through after that match?
Oh, I don't even ask. I would say more than 10,000 hours now. But now I can basically do it with my closed eyes. So it's okay now for me.
So it's only serve or cross slice training. That's all. It's just like, that's the training program for Mani.
Yeah.
So Mani, you were actually brought into badminton as a discipline measure.
Yeah, you can pretty much say that. Yeah.
What did you do that was so bad in cricket?
Well, I wasn't taking fights. I was a batsman, and so when I hit the ball, I actually broke someone's window.
Oh, you were too good at it. You just hit it for 6, right?
Yeah, so I basically hit it too hard and it broke someone's window, and then that was just one incident. I hit somebody else on the head as well. So
wow,
with the ball.
But with the ball, so I had a few experiences which wasn't good. So that's why my mum chose to put me in that, which is sort of a safe, you can say that, safe. Yeah.
So you went from breaking windows to breaking ankles.
I don't know about that one now.
That's correct.
So Mani, we'll keep going with you while we're having a bit of fun. So with COVID happening, how has that affected you personally on your badminton journey?
Well, when it first happened, Oliver, Anona and myself, we were overseas in Europe. We were based in Croatia, planning to travel for a few different countries to play tournaments. But every time we book a flight or something, book accommodation, in the next few hours, we'll get a notice from BWF or post on Facebook saying that tournament has been cancelled and that sort of stuff, which was very disappointing because we couldn't even get a refund and we sort of wasted our money there. But we didn't waste the time there because we were training with our friends there, Zvonimir. So he's I would say, national #1 player in Croatia. So we trained with them and it was a very good experience with them there. But it has affected us in a good way and a bad way at the same time. When I say good way, we couldn't focus on the things while we were traveling on ourselves. Now we can focus on those things. So especially like for me, could be conditioning or could be more strength work, which we couldn't do while we were traveling because we had to maintain it rather than trying to build it up. Bad, we were pretty close to it. It was going to happen there and we were into the zone. We were in the zone to make it happen. And then all of a sudden you get to know that, nothing's going to happen now. So we still don't know it's going to happen, but we're still going for it. And we're still keeping it positive that we need to keep training hard and we need to still think positive and then start again from basically zero and then, and see what happens.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a tricky time for a lot of players because all the schedules and the calendars go out of sync, right? So you don't know what you're doing. Even for next year at this stage when we're talking now, we're still not sure what's happening, right? And just for us in Australia here, we're preparing for Thomas Cup in early October, but what's the chance, even if it's on, I don't think the Australian government's going to let anyone out of here anyway. So it's really tricky there. So that from your side of things, Mani, that's a very common thing we've noticed is like, there's this huge disruption, but we've got to do what we can with it. Now, Anona, with your preparation for the Tokyo Olympics, which are next year now, what do you feel that the break or the COVID situation is going to give you the opportunity to do for your game?
So Ollie and I, we started playing together last year. Last year? Yeah, last year. Right. And our partnership then was quite new and quite raw. So each time we play a tournament, we kept improving on what we needed to improve on. So with this break, we can focus on more our partnership and on our rotation, on how to move around each other and communicate with each other more. Because I see Oliver as a senior player, and when I was a junior, I would always look up to him and be like, whoa. And he was scary at the time because I didn't know him that well. But after these few months overseas, he's a easy person to get around, and Mani and I actually played lots of pranks on him.
Okay, yeah, cool. Okay.
So he's actually quite chill and quite relaxed with it, and I kind of got a lot more comfortable around him. So our partnership is going steadily improving, hopefully, if I don't play too much prank on him. Yeah.
So what's the best prank you played on him? Because, of course, with the history of Australia playing New Zealand and things, I know Oliver quite well, and we've had him on the podcast as well. But what's the funniest thing you've done to him, just so that I can tell him about it as well?
We can have a bit of a giggle as well.
So there was one in Croatia where our challenge was not to complain about
anything.
So like if we're walking up the steps, we shouldn't complain like, these stairs are too much, I'm tired. So then we'll try to catch each other out, and we have a punishment dice that we have. So Ollie actually said a few complaints and we're like, Ollie, that's a complaint. And we caught him. And there's another one where I would subtly just copy what he's doing. So he would be stretching his arms and I'll just stand next to him and do the same thing. And then he would stretch other parts of his body and I would just do the same, like grab his racket or pretty much just mirroring him what he was doing until he realized what I was doing. Yeah.
He wouldn't notice at the first place, and then he'd be like, why are you following me? Yeah. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Yeah, so it was sort of funny at that time.
Yeah.
It probably not sounds as funny as I'm speaking it, but yeah, it was quite funny because he's sort of looks like he's kind of like a serious person. So
I just want him to break a smile. I just want him to show teeth and make smile.
I can imagine at the time, Anona, were you just like, nah, what are you doing copying me?
Yeah.
And Anona, at the start, Jeff mentioned that you were obviously learning an additional language during this time period. But something that we've read as well in that article by Badminton Oceania is that you've also been studying the virus lately.
It was just general hobby because I was a med lab scientist in genetics. I like comparing. So there's the SARS, there's the COVID-19, and there's the Middle Eastern respiratory system. And they're all from the same virus family. So I was just wondering why this COVID-19 virus is a lot different to the others and why it's so hard to find a cure. So reading different scientific papers and understanding it more. The more I read, the more all these why questions come out. So I just need to find out answers.
Yeah. So what have you found? What is the one key fact that you found about COVID-19 compared to those two similar viruses?
Ooh. Okay. Don't be too hard on me because it might it's generally the genetic sequence that the COVID-19 have that makes it more easy to attach to the cells in our body. So there's a sequence in the COVID-19 that's a little bit longer than the SARS virus, which makes it more virulent on the human body.
Mm.
I'm not going to go into more details because people might zone off with the science stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have some non-scientific people listening to this podcast, so we'll leave it at that. But thank you, Anona, for that insight. So if anyone's looking to cure the coronavirus that's listening to this podcast, make sure you check out the genomic sequence of COVID, okay?
Yeah. That'll get you to sleep at night, I'm sure. Well, get me to sleep. Maybe I'm not. Anona's just like, whoa, I can't believe this is happening. So, look, I know that both of you have been traveling a lot overseas on your Olympic qualification journey, and a lot of people may not understand what toll that does take on you emotionally. It's also great fun. You get to meet so many people. And Mani, I know that you got to train with the Centre of Excellence, yeah? And you were with Kestis. So Kestis was on the podcast. Kestis is a good friend of mine, and I'm sure you learned a lot from him and just being in that environment training. So if I was going to ask both of you, for someone who is, say, a developing player, they're maybe just coming out of juniors or they're in seniors, but they do want to try to make it to Olympic Games or play World Championships, etc. But they're not really sure whether they should take that investment of spending that money, spending that time, going overseas, playing, being stressful, then coming back and then having to work to make the money again, etc. What would you say to them in terms of what you've learned and the benefits of what you're doing? Because I've been through that experience before. It's an experience that you'll take with you for the rest of your life. And it's fantastic. But what about for you guys? What has it taught you?
Well, I think for me, it was a very important thing. Like, I always wanted to play in the Olympics, and you don't get many opportunities like these. So I think for me, I just wanted to go for it, no matter how much I need to invest and, how much. Of course, there's a lot of investment involved since we are in New Zealand and it's not a big sport here, unfortunately. So it's, at the moment, investment is all self-funded and all the tournaments trips are all self-funded. But hey, that's literally, I'm learning so many things just by traveling overseas, just by playing different players. And I think I will never regret that decision that I made, even though I still don't know what's going to happen because of the COVID, but I still want to travel. Yeah, and I think you do learn a lot of things. So I wouldn't say just think about the positive side of the traveling and positive side of the investment rather than thinking about, hey, what's going to happen if I invest that much money or invest that much time, and if I don't get anything out of it. You will definitely get something out of it. I'm not saying you can get probably 100% out of it, but you'll be pretty close to 100% getting out of it. So I would definitely encourage to all the players, if you have even 1%, if you think you want to travel or you want to try compete in the Olympics or Commonwealth Games or whatever your goal is, just do it and go for it. Otherwise, when you get older, you might regret it that why you didn't do it.
Yeah.
Okay. Any additional comments, Nana?
So that was similar to me as well, because 2 years ago, I was asked to play mix of Ollie to start the Olympic campaign. But at that time, I wasn't sure. So I said, no, I think it's a bit too stressful for me. And then the year after Sudirman, the coach came up to me and said, hey, actually, you guys still have a chance. Do you want to try again? Do you want to try for it? And then I was just thinking, if I don't try for it now, when would be the next time that I'll have this opportunity? So I just went back to her and said, okay, let's do this. So here we are.
Yeah.
You just go for it.
Yeah. And Marnie, what you said as well is very true in that maybe if you do it, you might not make the Olympic Games. I didn't make the Olympic Games. And maybe you fail, if you want to call it failure, in that way. But the amount that you get back in other aspects of just traveling, getting to know people, just a life experience, and just, I don't know, it's amazing what you just learn about yourself as well. And then just the bonds that you create, like with you and Anona, we can definitely tell that you've been traveling together. Because when you travel with someone, or you travel with a team, you get to see them at their highs, you get to see them at their lows. They get to see you at your highs and lows, and you just create just friendships that literally last the whole lifetime.
Yeah, definitely. Especially for me as well. Like, I was very fortunate travel to Denmark and then play at Centre of Excellence. It was a really good experience. I played with a lot of different players there and I made a lot of friends there. I didn't know them before at all. And I still talk to them. We are still in touch and we still talk about what's happening with the COVID and how you guys doing, how you guys training and that sort of stuff. So I think, yeah, you definitely get something out of it. So don't even think about it. You're never going to get anything out of it.
Yeah.
So I would say just go with it and then get some things out of it.
Yeah, great. To everybody listening, that's from Anona and Manny. Just make sure you go for it. So, guys, I want to bring us right back to the New Zealand Badminton League as well, now that we're starting to wrap up. And I just wanted to ask you both, when you first heard about the league, what were your initial thoughts?
So for me, it was very exciting and very interesting because I always see in the other countries, they play stuff like that, like the league like that. And I always wanted to be a part of the league, even though when I was in India, that's when they first started doing the Indian Badminton League, which is it's called Premier Badminton League now. They used to be called Indian Badminton League. So I was lucky enough to be in a draft order, but I didn't get selected. But yeah, it's a really good feeling to be part of that kind of opportunity. So when I first heard about it, when it first begins and mentioned to us, I literally said, yes, we are going with it. No matter what, we'll be in. I will definitely be in no matter what.
Yeah, so when we first heard of it, Joe asked myself, Ollie and Mani about our thoughts around it. And we, all three of us, just had a positive feedback, just said, yeah, go for it because there's no tournaments happening and this is a good opportunity to get everyone in one big group, play against each other, have some fun games, challenge each other, learn new things as well. Yeah, bring up the younger junior players up. That's the fun part of it, being able to challenge each other.
Yeah, sure. And has it been what you expected? Has it lived up to that excitement you thought it was going to be?
I would say probably more than that.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There's more hype. There's more hype and people are loving it. So we're getting good feedbacks from them, which is really good. And yeah, it's been great fun so far. And we are hoping that it continues, you know?
Yeah. Like even though we're all in different teams, the next day we're still one big New Zealand team at
You're
training.
Still friends.
we were talking the next morning and be like, oh, remember last night this and this happened and the night before this happened. Yeah, so we're still one huge team.
That's great. Now, for different countries who are thinking, so Henry and I thought of doing a league. This is a little while ago. But I'm not sure if you're aware, there is an Australian one that is in the works of starting. And now I know that Australia and New Zealand always have this very friendly yet competitive rivalry. So if there was something that you guys have learnt from your league, and let's just say someone was listening from Australia or any country, what would you say that the biggest things that maybe the league has learnt that you're aware of? So what maybe didn't work that we know is going to work a little bit better next time? Is there anything in particular?
That's a very good question.
I think it's more development for the other players because like you have your set partners, right? But in the league, you're playing with different people that you're learning how to communicate with them and which, let's say I was playing with a junior player and for myself to guide them around the court as well and to give them the confidence to be able to speak up to us being senior players. So it goes both ways. Like we have to make them feel comfortable and make them understand the matches. And at the same time, they can feed back to us on what could work better and what we can learn from them. It's development, more development.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, I think for everybody listening, potentially Badminton New Zealand that's listening, the potential for creating more opportunities for development is a way that we can make this league even better and make potential new leagues great as well. So thank you for that, Anona. And okay, so let's recap on the New Zealand Badminton League, shall we? So we're at the 4th week of the 7-week period. We have the finals on the 28th and 29th of July in about 2 weeks' time. And you can watch it on the Sky Sport Next YouTube channel for all those listeners and potentially viewers out there at the moment. If you want to keep in touch with the progress of the league, then you can check out the New Zealand Badminton League Instagram. You can check out the franchise teams' Instagrams. You can check out the individual players' Instagram. So there's many opportunities for you guys to get in touch and follow along this exciting journey that Manny and Anona are on. So the both of you, thank you so much again for coming on to the Badminton Podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Hopefully had a bit of fun there. I know that Henry and I definitely did. It's always good to talk to. Yeah, it's good, always good to have a laugh and talk about badminton, which is what we always do love talking about. And look, for everyone listening as well, we just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. If you have enjoyed this episode or any of our other episodes, or if you just love badminton for the sport that it is, like us, then please make sure that you share this podcast with your friends, families, players, colleagues, etc. Just share it with everyone. And also make sure you do have a look in the episode description, because you'll find all the links, all the handles, everyone that you can follow, and you can share those around as well. Make sure you do tune into the finals, which is free, live and free on YouTube. So make sure you do so. Or you can also watch it previous to the finals or after the finals for any highlights, because there's lots of high-level badminton that's very, very entertaining there. And if you've seen all 20 or so Instagram accounts and you want to get in touch with us, then our Instagram handle is @VolantWear, VOLANTWEAR, or the Badminton Podcast. We also have Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and TikTok accounts. And there is definitely our website as well, www.volantwear.com, where you can buy some great badminton clothes that are not the typical unconventional, unsightly badminton wear that you see. It's clothes that you can wear anywhere for $32 and delivered to your home. So feel free to reach out to us and ask any questions or request any topics as well for future episodes. We're here to serve the badminton community and always are looking to do better at what we do already. So please give us any feedback as well. And thank you again, Anona and Manny, for this episode. And thank you to Badminton New Zealand. And we will see you all on the next episode. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
This podcast was brought to you by Volant, the most versatile badminton apparel you'll ever own.